He had seen every kind of performance imaginable. But when this woman walked onto the stage carrying every moment that had ever happened in her mind, Simon Cowell realized he was about to witness something that would redefine what it means to remember everything. The America's Got Talent Theater buzzed with familiar energy as Simon sat at the judges' table. The night had proceeded through typical performers, but nothing had prepared the judges for what was about to challenge fundamental assumptions about human memory. Her name was Dr. Elena Vasquez, 35 years old, walking toward center stage with movements suggesting someone carrying an invisible burden. She wore a simple black dress and carried only a small notebook, but her bearing indicated profound complexity beneath apparent simplicity. Elena possessed hyperthymesia, highly superior autobiographical memory, affecting fewer than 100 people worldwide. While most humans forget 90% of their experiences within hours, Elena remembered everything with photographic clarity. Every conversation, emotion, moment of pain or joy from every day since she was 5 years old. To Elena, memories weren't nostalgic glimpses, but living experiences, existing as vividly as present reality. She could recall with perfect accuracy not just what happened on any given day, but what she wore, ate, weather conditions, songs on the radio, emotions experienced, and everything everyone said and did. Most people considered perfect memory a blessing. Elena had learned it could be a curse. Her childhood was marked by teachers and parents who initially celebrated her extraordinary recall abilities. Young Elena could recite entire textbooks after single readings, remember every detail of family vacations years later, and provide testimony about events others had forgotten completely. But as Elena grew older, total recall's weight became overwhelming. While classmates forgot embarrassing moments and painful experiences, Elena retained everything with crystalline clarity. Every slight disappointment, moment of sadness remained fresh and immediate as the day they occurred. By high school, Elena understood her hyperthymesia was both superpower and prison. She could ace tests by perfectly recalling information, but couldn't escape traumatic experiences that normal forgetting would have softened. Most people say they never forget important moments, Elena had explained to Dr. James Martinez, the neurologist who diagnosed her condition. But they do forget. They remember essence, emotional significance, but details fade. For me, nothing fades. Every day I've lived continues to exist in my present consciousness. The challenge wasn't Elena's ability to remember her own experiences, but what she discovered accidentally during college. She could predict other people's memories with startling accuracy by analyzing behavioral patterns. Elena had been studying psychology at Stanford when she noticed something remarkable during study groups. By observing classmates' micro-expressions, speech patterns, and unconscious behaviors, she could accurately guess significant events from their past. When a study partner mentioned anxiety about exams, Elena observed specific facial expressions and body language patterns. "You're not just worried about tests," Elena said suddenly. "You're remembering how you felt when your parents divorced during your sophomore year. The uncertainty now is triggering emotional memories from that unpredictable period." Her study partner stared in shock. How could you possibly know that? Elena was equally surprised by her accurate intuition. "I saw something in how you were holding yourself. The way your voice changed discussing uncertainty. It reminded me of how people look when unconsciously processing unresolved emotional experiences." This led Elena to realize her hyperthymesia provided not just perfect recall of her own experiences, but heightened sensitivity to emotional patterns revealing information about others' memory-forming experiences. Over following years, Elena developed memory archaeology, the ability to identify significant moments from people's past by analyzing present emotional, physical, and behavioral patterns. Elena can read people's emotional history, like others read books, Dr. Martinez observed. Her hyperthymesia created extraordinary pattern recognition abilities. She notices micro-expressions, voice inflections, and behavioral cues revealing when someone is unconsciously processing memories. Elena initially considered her abilities invasive and ethically problematic. Reading people's emotional histories without permission felt like privacy violation. But during graduate school, Elena discovered therapeutic applications. Working with Dr. Sarah Chen, a trauma therapist, Elena learned to use her abilities helping patients access and process memories they had suppressed. Traditional therapy often involves helping patients identify formative experiences, Dr. Chen explained. Elena's insights can accelerate that process dramatically. She recognizes when someone carries unprocessed trauma and helps them understand how past experiences influence present patterns. Elena began working with trauma survivors and people seeking to understand psychological patterns affecting their relationships. Her ability to identify significant memories by observing present behavior proved invaluable for therapeutic intervention. But Elena's most remarkable discovery was her ability to predict not just past emotional experiences, but future emotional patterns based on how people unconsciously processed current situations. Dr. Chen suggested Elena consider demonstrating her abilities publicly to raise awareness about memory, trauma processing, and how past experiences shaped present emotional patterns. Standing now at AGT, Elena felt the weight of 30 years of perfect memories, but also the possibility that her burden might become a gift for others seeking to understand their emotional histories. The audience showed immediate curiosity. Here was a woman who appeared unremarkable, but claimed abilities challenging basic assumptions about human memory. "Hello," Simon said. "What's your name? And what brings you to our stage tonight?" "My name is Dr. Elena Vasquez," she began. "I'm here to demonstrate something unusual about memory, pattern recognition, and how our past experiences shape our present emotional responses. I have hyperthymesia, which means I remember everything that has happened to me since age 5 with perfect accuracy. But more importantly, this condition has given me the ability to recognize emotional patterns in others that reveal information about their significant life experiences." Simon felt something shift. This wasn't going to be typical entertainment. "You're saying you can tell us about our past experiences by observing our present behavior?" Simon asked. "Not just past experiences," Elena replied. "I can often identify when someone is carrying unprocessed emotional experiences, predict how they're likely to respond to future situations, and help them understand connections between their past and present they might not recognize." Elena gestured toward the audience. "Every person carries their emotional history in body language, voice patterns, and unconscious behaviors. My hyperthymesia has trained me to recognize these indicators with unusual accuracy." Elena approached Simon first, studying his posture, facial expressions, and subtle ways he held himself while speaking. "Simon," Elena said after observing him, "you're carrying emotional weight from a conversation approximately 15 years ago. Someone important, a father figure, not your biological father, said something making you question whether your success was earned or simply lucky circumstances." Simon's expression changed dramatically. Elena had identified a specific interaction with a music industry mentor who had suggested Simon's achievements were due more to connections than talent. "That conversation still influences how you judge other people's abilities," Elena continued. "You're unconsciously looking for authentic talent, because you're still proving to yourself that real ability deserves recognition, regardless of circumstances." "How could you possibly know that?" Simon asked, clearly moved by the accuracy. "You hold your shoulders differently when evaluating performances," Elena explained. "It's a protective posture, suggesting you're unconsciously accessing memories of feeling judged. Your voice patterns change when discussing genuine talent. There's emotional weight, indicating personal investment beyond professional interest." Elena demonstrated similar insights with other judges, each observation specific, personal, and accurate enough to leave them visibly affected. But Elena's most remarkable demonstration came when she addressed the audience directly. "I'd like to try something different," Elena announced. "Instead of individual volunteers, I want to address general patterns I'm observing in this audience." Elena scanned the theater, her extraordinary memory, processing hundreds of subtle behavioral indicators simultaneously. There are approximately 40 people here carrying guilt about conversations they should have had with parents who are no longer alive, Elena said. I can see this in specific patterns of shoulder tension, eye movement, and how people unconsciously touch their faces when emotional topics are discussed. A murmur went through the audience as dozens recognized themselves in Elena's observation. About 60 people are unconsciously preparing for relationship changes in the next 6 months, Elena continued. Your body language suggests you're processing emotional patterns, indicating significant relationship decisions approaching. And roughly 30 people experienced childhood trauma involving feelings of abandonment, still unconsciously protecting yourselves against similar experiences in adult relationships. The audience was completely silent, many visibly emotional, as Elena's observations touched personal experiences never discussed publicly. I can identify these patterns, Elena explained, because my hyperthymesia has given me 30 years of observing how emotional experiences manifest in physical and behavioral patterns. Past experiences leave signatures in how we hold ourselves, speak, unconsciously prepare for future situations. Simon was amazed by Elena's demonstration, but more impressed by her respectful approach to revealing people's emotional vulnerabilities. Elena, Simon said, what you're demonstrating isn't just remarkable memory or pattern recognition. You're showing us that our emotional histories are visible to someone who knows how to look, and that understanding these patterns could help people process their experiences more effectively. Elena smiled. My hyperthymesia taught me that memory isn't just about the past. It's about how past experiences continue influencing present emotional responses. When people understand these connections, they can make different choices about processing their experiences. Simon stood up. Understanding Elena had demonstrated something far more valuable than entertainment. Elena, Simon said, walking onto the stage, you've shown us something extraordinary tonight. Not just your remarkable abilities, but the compassionate way you use them to help people understand themselves. In 15 years of judging, I've never seen anyone transform a neurological condition that could be a burden into a tool for helping others understand their own emotional experiences. As the golden buzzer activated, Simon said, Elena, you've proven that extraordinary memory isn't just about recall. It's about understanding patterns that can help people heal from their past and prepare more effectively for their future. After the cameras stopped, Elena spent time with audience members wanting to understand their own emotional patterns better. She provided resources for therapy, trauma processing, and psychological support services. 6 months later, Elena established the Memory Pattern Institute, teaching mental health professionals to recognize emotional history, indicators that could accelerate therapeutic intervention. Elena's approach proved particularly effective with individuals who had difficulty accessing their emotional experiences. By identifying behavioral patterns revealing unprocessed memories, therapists could help patients understand connections they couldn't recognize independently. Years later, Elena published research showing that emotional pattern recognition could predict psychological resilience, relationship success, and recovery outcomes with remarkable accuracy. Elena continued working with individual clients, but her greatest satisfaction came from teaching others to recognize emotional patterns, guiding compassionate intervention. My hyperthymesia means I carry every difficult experience I've ever had, Elena would tell students. But I also carry every moment of healing, every instance of growth. Those memories teach me that emotional pain serves purposes. It provides information, creates empathy, guides us towards supporting others experiencing similar challenges. The memory thief who could steal glimpses of everyone's emotional history had learned that the greatest gift wasn't perfect recall, but understanding how to use that recall to help others process their own memories with greater compassion and insight. The AGT episode featuring Elena became a cultural phenomenon, sparking conversations about memory, trauma, and emotional processing. Mental health professionals reported increased requests for therapy as viewers recognized their own patterns in Elena's observations. Elena made psychological insight accessible to mainstream audiences. Dr. Martinez noted, "People who never considered therapy suddenly understood that their emotional reactions had identifiable patterns rooted in past experiences." Elena received thousands of messages from viewers who recognized themselves in her demonstrations. Many reported seeking professional help for the first time, understanding that emotional struggles weren't personal failings, but natural responses to unprocessed experiences. The Memory Pattern Institute expanded internationally, training professionals in 12 countries. Elena's techniques were translated into multiple languages and adapted to different cultural contexts. Elena's most significant breakthrough came when she developed diagnostic criteria for emotional pattern syndrome, the tendency for past traumas to create predictable behavioral responses that interfered with present relationships. 5 years after AGT, Elena published The Memory Map, a best-selling book teaching readers to recognize their own emotional patterns and understand how past experiences influenced present behavior. Elena continued clinical work but expanded into preventive applications. She developed programs for schools, teaching educators to recognize trauma signs in students and respond with support rather than punishment. Elena taught us that emotional education should be as fundamental as academic education, explained Dr. Rodriguez. Children who understand their patterns make better choices about relationships and personal development. Years later, Elena reflected on her journey from feeling cursed by perfect memory to using that gift to serve others. "I thought my hyperthymesia was a burden because I couldn't forget pain," she said. "But carrying all those memories gave me unique understanding of how emotional experiences shape behavior. My curse became my calling." The woman who remembered everything had taught the world that memories weren't just personal history, but shared human experience that could guide compassion and healing.